can I assume you've got a clean bill of health squad-wise for this one? And if I could just ask as well about Andre Ayew, obviously had the 65 minutes against Watford. No adverse reaction there. Obviously good to have him back at this time. Yeah,
Andre's good, and the rest of the squad are good. Unfortunately, one of our younger players picked up an injury yesterday. Brandon Cooper, this ruled him out for a few months. Good young player that we like, one for next season now, really. So he's had a little bit of a blow, but in terms of the sort of obvious names, everybody's fine, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, you've obviously been over this course just 10 months before. How much are you drawing on that experience? That, I suppose, allied with the time to prepare for this, because I suppose you've known you were in the playoffs for some time.
Yeah, and I think it is, obviously it's the same setup in terms of, double leg semi-finals, and whoever gets through them into a final. But it's slightly different this year because there's been sort of 9 days between the last league game and the first leg, whereas I think it was only 3 or 4 days last season. So and we sneaked in, as you said. We knew we'd qualified for the playoffs, a few weeks before. So slightly different in terms of the scheduling, and we very much had to try and get the balance right this week in our preparation. But yeah, when the first leg comes, it will be fairly similar to last season, and it's all about playing the game, handling the occasion. Obviously, supporters coming back into the stadium, which is a real positive thing for every club involved. Obviously not just ourselves. I'm pleased that other clubs are able to do it as well, because we've missed the support so much, and hopefully then the start of 2 exciting legs of football.
Yeah, you've celebrated, of course, the supporters coming back. Is it a little adjustment for the players? Because I think there's 1 or 2, or quite a few in your squad that maybe haven't played in front of a home Swansea crowd. And also, I suppose the key factor: does it restore that little bit of an advantage of having the second leg at home?
Well, we'll find out. I don't think there's any one way of getting through semi-finals to the final, whether you play at home or away in the first or second leg. I think it'll be one to look back on once we see what happens. But like you said at the start, it will be slightly different because a lot of the players haven't played in front of supporters for a while. A lot of our supporters haven't seen some of our players live, vice versa. Our players haven't played in front of the supporters, but that's got to be a positive thing. That the fans have been away for so long. We've missed them. I'm sure they've missed coming to what is an important part of a lot of people's lives, and we've got to just make sure that we enjoy all being back together, and I think every club will be like that.
Yeah, just last one for me then. You had the 2 victories over Barnsley. Winter conditions, and I think it was your old pitch at the Liberty in the first game. But their manager, Valerian Ismail, was saying they're a completely different team now. What can you draw from those results?
Well, not much. I think I agree with what's been said by some of our guys, and maybe their guys have said the same. I don't think that them games will have any bearing on these 2 coming up, because things have changed in terms of the time of the season, and their team will look slightly different. Ours certainly will. It's the playoffs. It's knockout football, especially when you get to the second leg. So there's a lot of things that are different, and because of that, we just very much focus on ourselves. We respect Barnsley a lot. They've had an excellent season, but certainly the second part of the season, their points return and their wins, has been a real credit to their work. And so we know that we're facing a really tough opponent that we have to be ready for. But with all of these challenges that we face, we always focus on ourselves. We believe in what we do, and we back ourselves to take the game to the opposition, home or away.
Good luck.
Thanks, Craig.
Cheers.
Stay well.
Cheers, man.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Moose. You okay, mate?
Very well. I would say it's an achievement for Swansea to be in the playoffs again. A, because of the disappointment last year, and B, because of the strength of the likes of Norwich and Watford and Bournemouth. Would you agree?
Well, certainly a lot of stuff's been against the odds, mate. So I appreciate you recognising, the effort of the lads. 10 points more than last season, a couple of places higher up the league, we had a good go at automatic, even though we found it at the end difficult to keep up because of what we were up against and some of the strength and depth that we haven't got. So I've said it every week since we qualified for the playoffs. I'll say it again. These boys deserve a huge amount of credit for the season that they've given us. Equaled the record amount of points at this level with 80. We would have liked to have betted that, but we couldn't in the end. But boys deserve a lot of credit, and in the season that it's been as well, with the quickly starting this season after last season, and it being a congested one to say the least. So with some of the lack of strength and depth that we've had, these boys deserve a huge amount of credit. But what we've got to do is take real confidence from that and all of the good things that we've done throughout the season, and really hone in on it and try and use it to serve us well in these next two games.
Without being disrespectful to Barnsley in any way, shape or form, Valerian Ismail's done a great job there. This is the tie I think that you, Bournemouth and Brentford would have wanted, yeah?
I don't see it like that, Moose. I think I know how hard it's, because of what I just said from your first question. I know how hard we've had to work to get into the playoffs. And, you look at the teams that haven't got there, and even been fighting for something at the other end of the league. So any team that has got themselves, into this position are a good outfit in however they work, however they play, they will be good at what they do. So I don't see it like that, mate. But like I said before, Barnsley have had an excellent season, particularly second part. And as I said, anybody that can finish in the top six this year is a good outfit.
And just two more very quickly. First of all, advantage being away first?
Well, we don't know. It's first and foremost, first or second leg, we can't wait to get back in front of our supporters, albeit 3,500. 3,500. Will be great to see them again, and we'll also be thinking of the ones that couldn't get in because of the restrictions. So it's not a complete return yet. And whether we were home first or second leg, we hope that having our fans back can help us along the way. And obviously that's the opposite when you go to Barnsley, because they've got people back in as well, and they'll be feeling exactly the same. So there isn't any one way of getting through the semis to the final. You can do it in all ways. Hopefully this way we can do it. Barnsley be thinking the same. It's time to go to work now and get ready for the games.
And finally, normally the playoffs will be very quick after the end of the season. I think normally in that first week, because it's been over a week now since you played, is that an advantage or a disadvantage? What have you done?
Well, it's definitely been something to think about, Moose, about trying to get the balance right. It is a long 9 days is a long time to prepare for a game, and you've got to be careful you don't overthink things and come away from the plan because you have a bit more time. But we've tried to use it as wisely as we can. It's been a very busy time, if you like. We've tried to maximise the time on the training pitch and even in around the training ground as well, with meetings, etc. But the other three teams will be exactly the same. It feels a little bit longer because of the type of season there's been as well. Normally in 9 days we played about 4 games this season, so to have no game has taken a little bit of managing. But I'm sure the other three coaches will tell you exactly the same.
Brilliant. I'll see you at Oakwell on Monday.
See you, Moose. Stay safe, mate.
Steve, just following on from something you said there, do you think you and the players have had enough credit for achieving what you have done already this season?
Well, I don't know. I'm not one for seeing what's being said or written. So I don't know is the answer. But what I do know is that they get a lot of credit off me because I know how hard the schedule has been, and I know what we've tried to do with the squad and the makeup of it, and not being quite able to do that. We've got on with it. We've not tried not to look at what we haven't got and what is against us. We've tried to really embrace the challenge and go for it. And like I said, at the start of the season, if somebody said we were going to get 80 points, qualify for playoffs with a few games to spare, then I think a lot of people would have taken it. So whether that deserves credit or not is not really for me to decide on. But internally, we know how hard we've worked to get ourselves in this position. We want to take confidence from all of them things and take it into these 2 games now.
Yeah, I mean, to make it a special season, you've still got a lot of work to do, haven't you?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you're just through the phase 1, and you're entering phase 2 now, and you're starting again in a lot of ways because that's what the playoffs give you. They give you a second chance, if you like, of getting promoted, and 1 out of 4 teams will. That's a matter of fact. So, but as you said, a lot of hard work will go into it. There's 4 teams, will be working exactly the same as us, trying to get ready for it. Obviously, our focus is on Barnsley because that's who we play. But we've got to focus on ourselves. We've got to back ourselves. We've got to believe in what we do. We've got to look at all the good things that we've done this season and really try and bring it to the 2 ties. And if we do that, we give ourselves a chance.
Does the fact that you went through the playoffs last year, will that help you this time around? Do you think you can learn from what went on last season?
Well, we hope so. And it's not just last season. Conor Hourihane, for example, he's had a lot of playoff experience. Some of it with Barnsley as well in previous seasons. So I think for everybody that's played in playoffs, whether it was us last year or in previous clubs, then hopefully they do use that experience wisely. And it's not just the playoffs. I think it's bigger games in general. That's what experience is, isn't it? So, but as I keep saying, they'll be exactly the same, and so will the 2 teams in the other semi-final. So, it's going to come down to what it looks like on the day.
You finished 4th. The bookmakers, surprisingly perhaps, have you as 4th favourites to come through and win promotion. Does that surprise you?
I don't really have much interest in it, to be honest. But I guess that we our results, if you like, the difficult period come at the latter part of the season, so it's probably quite is present in people's minds. So maybe it's come from that, but I don't think it'll have any bearing on our preparation. Well, it hasn't had any bearing on our preparation, our focus. I didn't know that because I don't look at things. But whether we were favourites or 4th favourites, it wouldn't make any difference to me, and I know it won't with the boys as well.
And just lastly from me, Valerian Ismail, he suggested the fact that you were in the mix for the top 2 for so long means, well, he said massive pressure on Swansea, he said yesterday. What do you make of that?
Not much. I think that we're all in the mix. I think that, as you said in one of your previous questions, it's 1 phase done in the league, and we all start again for 4 teams for the playoffs. So we all start at the same spot. And it's whoever performs on the days. It's two games to start off with. Obviously, 1 will get through from both ties, and then there's another game after that. So 4 teams in exactly the same position, all vying for the same thing.
Thanks, Steve. Best of luck.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks, mate.
Afternoon, Steve. You okay?
Hey, mate. You okay?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Just to follow on from Gareth's question there from Valerian Ismail's press conference, he also said that Barnsley are the underdogs. Do you understand why I say that, and do you even agree with him?
Again, not first I've heard of it, and I'm only focused on ourselves, on our players. One of you are telling us we're 4th favourites, and the other one's telling us that they're underdogs. Zero interest from me. All I'm interested in is our preparation, our mentality, the support that we give in the players to go and back themselves. And if we were playing one of the other 2 teams as well, it would be exactly the same. We've got to really believe in what we do and how we work, and try and deliver when it counts, and that's on match days.
Just to follow on one of the questions asked earlier as well, in terms of some of your players, Jamal Lowe, Hourihane, Smith, they have never played in front of the Swansea fans. What are they what's their feeling about not only playing in front of Barnsley fans on Monday, but being back at the Liberty with 3,000 there on the Saturday?
Excited, overdue. So, and something, okay, there's a lot on the games, of course it is, but I think we need to enjoy being back together as well, and we need to see it as a real positive, both the supporters and the players. Because I was thinking about it actually, spoke to a couple of your colleagues earlier in the week, and they was asking about fans being back, and I spoke a lot about the fans coming back, which I meant, but I failed to mention how important it is to the players as well, and how important it is to the staff to all be back together. It's an important part of football I think has been missed. It's what makes our game so great in this country, and the fact that they've been away for too long and it's become a little bit normal is been wrong and sad. So, to think that we're making a step forward to having a full stadiums, both home and away, is a real positive step. And I think we've got to take a step back from the whole playoff thing and enjoy that. We're close to being back together again.
Can I just check on Ben Cabango as well? Of course, he missed the game with a groin injury at Watford. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's fine, Ben. He joined in. He missed the first part of training this week, just making sure that he recovered. But he's back in his training the last couple of days, so he's fine.
Cheers, Steve. Best luck for Monday.
Thanks, mate.
All right, to jump in with Ben. Sorry, I was late. Just to follow up on what Mitch had, really. Obviously, I know that your son literally adores football and adores your work. Does it mean he can come and watch you this week?
I'm not sure. He doesn't adore me when we don't win. He's quick to tell me maybe what I should have done. Yeah, I mean, I'll only be getting the allocation the same as the rest of the staff, and to be fair, probably maybe I could have used my position in the lockdown games to have somebody in one of the seats, if you like, which would well be allowed. But I didn't do that because I didn't think it was right. If the players couldn't have their family there and other staff members could have their family there, then I didn't think I should as well. But we will have a small allocation, nothing, something that I think is fair. So it doesn't take too many tickets away from the supporters, but the players will have an allocation, and we'll have a small allocation, the staff, and my son will take one of their tickets for sure. And so yeah, he'll be there, and that's what's nice as well for the players. Is they can their loved ones can come and watch them play, and because they would have missed it as well, and that's a real positive thing, as I said, for people being allowed to come back in the stadium.
Sorry if this was asked at the beginning, but I just want to talk about mentality in these playoffs compared to last year. Obviously, last year was unbelievable how you got in it. Is there a kind of a more confidence going in now that you kind of earned it in the absolute right way?
Well, I think mentality is key. However you get yourselves into these positions of playing big games, I think mentality is always a key feature of performance, and that's certainly something that we've focused on a lot in the last two years. And I'm continuing to do so. And sometimes we've done it really well. Other times you take backward steps because you just do. That's what performance is. But it's similar in some ways, the playoffs this year, last year, because it's the same sort of competition that you're going into, with it being 2 legs, home and away, and then another game after that for the 2 teams to get through. But it's been slightly different because of the time difference between the last game, which this season was Watford, and the 9 days to the next Monday, and as opposed to 3 or 4 days last season. So some bits are similar that we can hone in on and try and reflect and have them reflect, and another bit is a bit of a new experience. So, but I mean, I guess every team's the same, so there's no advantage or disadvantage to it.
Listen, good luck for it.
Thanks, Beth.
Afternoon, Steve.
Hi, Phil. You okay, mate?
Yeah, very well. Hope you are. I just wonder, sort of, when you look back at last season in the playoffs, what were sort of the biggest lessons that you would have learned from that?
I think they are bigger games, if you like, on a bit more of a bigger stage. A lot of, the Premier League will still be going, won't it? But normally it's after all the domestic seasons, so you are playing on a bigger stage to normal. So I think it's just about really focusing in and concentrating on what you're in control of, which is obviously the performance and the results, and not trying to let any of the more of the scrutiny on the game sort of seep in. I think obviously, it's how you manage the first leg and the second leg, and the differences that they can give you. And I think notoriously in the past, playoff games, whether it's been at the start or at the end of the two legs, have been frantic at times. So I think it's about calm heads but being committed at the same time and standing up and being counted while trying to play your game and commit to the game plan. So I think it's a real, as Beth said, it's a real mentality test, of recognizing the moment and staying in control while competing in whichever way is needed. And that's a lot of the things that I guess all the four teams will be focusing on.
And when I asked you to sort of cast your mind back to the post-match at Brentford, I would imagine that's quite a low moment to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be losing any games, but particularly, decisive games, so it can end your season. So, if that's footy, you win and you lose, and some games are more important than others for sure. But you've got to use the disappointment from previous experiences as motivation, but equally you've got to use what can be achieved as motivation as well. And then they've got to be the real drivers to go and give your best.
Cheers, Steve. All the best.
Thanks, Phil.
Hi, Steve. It's Alex here.
Hi, Alex.
Do you think the team that's in the playoffs this year is a better Swansea team than the one that did it this time last year?
I don't really think it matters whether it is or it isn't, because it's just been completely different. Different this year, the way we got the playoffs, the season we've played in. So whether this team is a better team or last team was a better team, it's irrelevant really. So what's important is, though, that this is our current team. This is our current squad, our current set of players. We've got to really, really hone in on all the brilliant things that we've done this year. We've had some great wins, some great performances. We've been on some good runs. We've got over some difficult ones as well. And, one particularly. We've done a lot this year to really stand us in good stead for these two games. What we've got to do is put it to good use now.
Just lastly from me, in terms of the parachute payments ending for this season from the Premier League, does that give this game this playoff run a sort of feeling of now or never for Swansea?
Well, it's not something we're thinking about. Maybe if you ask Julian, then he might be able to give you a bit more detailed answer on that. But it's not in our minds. Our minds is just about the present and this group of players trying to do the best they can do in this situation. And I think any time you achieve or fail, it always has implications on the club. But what we've got to do is think positively. Really back ourselves and try and get some good results.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Steve, can you just
nothing, mate.
Sorry, can I just check what Brandon Cooper? What's the matter with him before you go?
Ankle. Yeah, high sprained ankle. It's similar to the one he did previously, but it's on his other foot. So, it's a disappointment for him. We gutted for him, but I've just had a good chat with him earlier, and I said he's really got to focus in on next season now, because he will definitely be part of the first team squad next year. He's a player that we like, and hopefully it can be his breakthrough season next season. He's definitely going to get that opportunity for sure.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. See you Monday.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Cheers, Steve. Thanks.